Dragon Ball, Pokemon, Kaiju, and more. It's Steven's Toy Reviews. Hello there, collector. Steven here today, bringing you another Dragon Ball action figure review for you. And today's a little bit different because it's not quite in the SH Figuarts line. It's the Global Bees Toys Vegetablemen reviews. Okay, so it's a third-party Saibamen set. 2 sets to be exact. So here we have yet another third party coming to the table that's going to be offering some folks product that they would want normally from Bandai, but Bandai's not making it. That being said, it's third party, something shady from China, right? That means these sets won't be good. Actually, you might be pleasantly surprised. So let's take a look to see whether or not these $60 to $80 sets are worth adding to your collection. This review is actually May 2019's Patron's Pick. Over on Patreon, every single month I put up a poll of between 2 to 3 figures for my patrons to vote on, and this is the one that was decided. So to all my patrons who participated in the poll, thank you so much for voting. Great to have this one up on the channel to review, and if you would be interested in voting in June's Patron's Pick poll, or maybe one other one in the future, head on over to my Patreon. That should be popping up in the card in the top right hand corner of the screen, or links in the description down below, so you can vote today or tomorrow or the next day, whenever. Alright, let's go ahead and get on with the review. Oh, and one other thing, these Saibamen were actually a part of March 2019's action figure photography gallery over on Patreon as well. I'll link to that in the pinned comment down below. Okie dokie, folks, so we have 2 sets here, version 1 and version 2, and they are a bit different, okay? And it is important to take note of what you get in each set because they do come with some pretty neat stuff. So in version 1, we get a Saibamen that has a sort of stern looking face, kind of neutral. We get one that's kind of angry and it's got one raised eyebrow. And then we have one that is absolutely losing his mind. He is yelling and he is getting ready to attack. Maybe he's scared of something. Who knows here? But definitely, we have 3 unique head sculpts for the Saibamen in this set. So if you're looking for something that's sort of neutral to sort of aggressive, this is definitely going to be a set for you. You can see all 3 here in the 360 spin view up on the turntable. Then, in the second set, we get something that's a little bit more, say, comical in nature for the Saibamen. We get one with a split head sculpt for an accessory that's going to be included in this set. We get one with sort of a joking, smirking head sculpt, which looks pretty nice. And then we have another one that's a little bit concerned with something going on over on the left-hand side. We even get a couple of sweat marks there. So definitely, again, we have some interesting head sculpts, which Bandai was not able to give us with the Saibamen that came with Yamcha. So without further ado, what's really important here is taking a closer look, because this is going to be the spot where there are really only sort of quality control issues here. A little bit of a warning, in order to get the details to pop for these pictures, the background's going to kind of go south. Yeah, it's kind of gray. So here's an up-close look. We're going to go from version 1 to version 2 in sets of 3. So as you can see, the detailing is really nice here, but unfortunately the quality control isn't super duper tight to the point where it's perfect. Some of the eyes, unfortunately, have a little bit of red bleeding to them. So when you're looking up close, the decals, or maybe it's paint, I don't know, are not going to be perfectly applied, and you may see small little black dots or red streaks here or there. Now, when it comes to the Saibamen that have teeth, which it's kind of it's kind of odd. For some reason, I just don't think that we should see teeth on these guys. Paint is going to be just slightly chunky, and mine for the screaming face, actually, it looks like the teeth bleed over a little bit too much into the mouth. But otherwise speaking, the head sculpts are great, and if you're thinking about the body, we're going to go ahead and take a look at that right now. They all share the same body sculpt, so let's go ahead and do a side-by-side comparison with the one that comes with Yamcha. So as you can see here, they're not 100% identical. It definitely looks like there was some inspiration here. We're going to go ahead and see all 6 next to Yamcha's Saibamen there. But as you can see, there are some differences. Most notably, for the hands, all of the claws are a little shorter on the Global Bee Toys release. And then we do also have claws on the feet, which are shorter as well. Or are those nails? Yeah, I don't know. Then we do also have some details for the torso, which look to be a little bit better sculpted, and the proportions are ever so different on those. So this is not a one-to-one recast with added articulation. This does appear to be a new sculpt for the main body from the ground up. At least that's the way it looks like to me. Maybe some of the details were just simply changed in the molding process if they did indeed lift it from the one that came with Yamcha. But there are, in fact, some sculpt differences. Now we're going to go ahead and move right on over to the articulation, and universally, all 6 of them... Now we're going to go ahead and move on over to the articulation, and universally, all 6 of them share the same articulation. We do have a ball joint where the head plugs into the neck, so we can get the Saibamen to look around in all sorts of different directions, and it's actually some pretty decent movement. For the shoulders, they may appear to be ball joints, but they are in fact swivels where they plug in, and then there is a hinge where the actual shoulder is. Do take note, across all of them, they are very tight, so move them with care. Moving on down, we do have a singular elbow hinge, but what is actually pretty cool is there are pegs that plug into the bicep and the forearm, which means we get swivels as well. So we're not stuck in just one direction, we can spin that hinge around to accommodate. The wrists are on pegs, so we can spin the hands around as well. We do get a waist joint, which is a ball joint. Great movement there. We can twist and turn and rock the Saibamen in all sorts of different directions. The hips are going to be ball jointed, and on some of mine, not all of them, the hips fall off with ease, whereas on other ones, they don't want to pop off at all. Actually, some of them don't even want to move, so be careful. The knees are going to feature the same joints as are going to be in the elbows, so keep that in mind. And then for the ankles, they're going to actually be similar to standard SH Figure Art style ankles with a hinge and a swivel, so this way you can get full-on ankle rocker movement. Rather nice articulation for such small figures. Now time to take a look at the accessories, and let's get one universal one out of the way. Or technically 12. Alongside the normal flat feet that they all come with by default, they each get a set of sort of, well, dangling feet, I guess is the best way to describe it. Here, you can display your Saibamen floating, or maybe they're standing on top of something. This is similar to the feet that the SH Figure Arts Frieza releases come with, so if you need a comparison there. Now, the way you do it is you just have to pop the feet off, and then you have to pop the new feet on, though for mine, for whatever reason, they don't want to fit all the way on the joint. So do keep that in mind. If you're having a hard time popping the feet on or popping them off, just make sure you're heating them up. And of course, I have videos for that. Now let's look at the actual accessories and just not the extra parts that come with it. That's kind of a weird thing to say, but you know what I mean. So for the Set A, or version 1, the Saibamen come with a little explosion effect that is cast in clear, translucent plastic. Why it's not orange, I don't know, but the detailing is rather nice. Now, what's cool about this explosion effect is that you can pop the head off of one of the Saibamen that you get. Preferably, you're going to be using the one that has the screaming face, because that's what's used in the promotional pictures, and you can also remove one of the hands as well, because there's a hole in there, and all you do is you just plop the head on correctly on the explosion part, and then you just plug the hand with that peg into the hole in the explosion base, and there you go. One of them decided to explode, whether it was because it was hit with a beam attack, or maybe it's going to go ahead and kill Yamcha. There you go. Should have been colored a different color. Now for version 2, Set B, whatever you would prefer to call it, the one Saibamen that has a split head is because there is an acid spray effect part. This is rather accurate because, well, it was white in the anime. So, yeah, translucent, that works pretty well. Sculpt is nice, but to be honest with you, if I could repaint this in a translucent green, I think that would be killer as well. All it does is it just plugs into the hole in between the split head. One other accessory that we get here is going to not necessarily be for Nappa, but it does work well for him, and it's used for him in the promotional pictures, and it's a little bottle where he was going ahead to drop them into the earth, so this way they could grow and become the little terrors that fought the Z-Warriors. Yeah, it's a little translucent piece of plastic. So all in all, we do get some neat accessories for these guys, considering this is an overall accessory set essentially. But you know what? The explosion effect could be a little bit different, and you're going to probably want more explosions for your Saibamen figures, so I got videos for that. And the Tamashii effect explosion does work really well because some of the smaller holes on the figures, you can actually fit them on some of the spikes that come off the explosion effect, as you see here. So that is very cool. Now we're going to go ahead and move on over to size comparison, and normally I go super in depth. I grab a Figma, Figuarts, Diamond Select, Monster Arts, Mezco, but here I really only think that folks are going to be using them with Dragon Ball stuff, so we're just going to go ahead and stick with a few Dragon Ball Figuarts. So as you can see, relatively in scale, no one's really going to complain about some minor size inconsistencies here. This is pretty cool, and it works well. So, buy now, skip, or wait for a deal. Overall, this is a very nice double set package here, and it's something that Bandai will probably never release. Admittedly, the paint could be tightened up a bit, especially when you're going to be paying, for some folks, up to $80 for one of these. That's a lot. You could basically buy Broly full powered for that much, and you're going to get a much better release than these guys. Yeah. However, if you're really looking for a definitive Saiyan Saga display, you're gonna want to pick up at least one of these. I will say, do some shopping around. Don't stick to eBay, hit up AliExpress, a link will be in the description down below, and maybe prowl around some Facebook groups. You never know what you're going to find. Overall, from mine, I think I paid $120 shipped directly from Global Beast Toys because they had an eBay account where they were going to sell them, and they did for like half their orders. Not good on them. And then they also teased they were going to do these in different colors. Nothing's come of that. Then I think they teased Cell Juniors. Nothing's come of that. I'm going on a tangent. Anyway, if you can score these for closer to the $100 price point, that'll be great, but I still feel these are overpriced. These are nice. If you get them, you're going to enjoy them. Your wallet will probably never like these. Well, collectors, that brings us to the end of the video today, and I just wanted to take a second to thank you so much for watching. Now, you've heard a lot from me. I'd like to hear a little bit from you. Drop in the comments down below whether or not you liked it, you hated it, or maybe you were somewhere in between. I also want to take an extra second here for a nice, humongous thank you to all the patrons for SDR over the last month who have really helped the channel grow into what it can be today. So to all of you, 2 big thumbs up. Thank you very much. And now the end card should be popping up, which will give you a few clickable links, like maybe to subscribe or head on over to my Patreon, or some short URLs like to my social media or to my Teespring store. There's also a video I hand selected for you, so if you want to watch another STR video, I hand selected some good content for you to watch, so definitely check out that video. Thank you again so much for watching, and I'll catch ya in the next video.